Neema, these privacy violations, unfortunately, have become almost routine. How egregious is this one in particular?
You know, it's disturbing here that users thought that they were having their location information not collected, and that's exactly what Google was doing. But what I think it does is point to really a larger problem, and that's that we don't have comprehensive privacy legislation. We don't have rules for the road that say what companies have to do, what consumers should do if their rights are violated, and what actions they can expect from the government.
So what actions can we expect from the government? Is this something that, you know, legislators, and we have lawmakers speaking out on Capitol Hill about this particular issue, but are we going to see real action?
We certainly should see real action. I think that there's a debate happening in Congress right now because, as you said, these kinds of privacy violations have become almost routine. We're seeing time after time cases where users expect their information to be treated one way and companies are treating it another way. And a lot of legislators are asking themselves, look, shouldn't consumers be able to expect that they control their data? Shouldn't they be able to have the information and the ability to stop who it's shared with and say when it's collected? And that's the very real debate happening right now.
Given that there aren't sophisticated enough laws around privacy, are there actual legal implications here to what Google apparently has been doing?
Certainly. The Federal Trade Commission can look at whether Google engaged in deceptive practices. Did it say one thing to its consumers and do something else? So that's certainly an option. There may also be state regulators who can take action based on particular state laws. But this is really a problem that's bigger than Google. A couple of months ago, we were talking about Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. Today, it's Google. Tomorrow, it might be another company. But what we need are clear rules. We need a way for consumers to get the information they need to make informed, real decisions. And we need a powerful stick from the government in cases where companies don't act the way they're expected to.
I should add that these Google services, according to the AP, are storing this data whether you're using an Android phone or an iPhone. Do you think that the U.S. needs its own version of GDPR? I mean, Europe has taken certainly a strong stand on the side of user privacy. GDPR is sweeping new regulation. Do you advocate something similar here in the United States?
I mean, absolutely. We're really behind the eight ball, especially when we look at what's happening in the European Union. The GDPR regulations, they're not perfect. But what they do is they create standards. They say that consumers are entitled to have information about when their data is stored. They talk about the steps companies have to go through to get consent before they can share users' information. And they come with a very heavy stick. In cases where companies violate GDPR, they can be fined up to 4% of their annual global revenue. And so there's a big incentive for companies to follow the GDPR and take steps proactively to ensure that they're not violating consumers' privacy.
Meantime, Apple has set itself firmly on the side of user privacy, even going so far as to not unlocking the iPhone of a shooting suspect in San Bernardino. Do you think Apple is a company that we can trust?
The reality is that we shouldn't have to rely on the benevolence of a particular company. Business practices change over time, and certainly different companies have different incentives to collect their customers' data. In cases like Google and Facebook, they collect data to target ads, and that's a big source of how they make money. But we shouldn't have to rely on a particular company's practices. There should be clear standards in place that Congress and our legislatures put in place so that even if a company has a change in their business practices, consumers aren't the ones that pay the price.